grande ville de Mumbai, vous trouverez une étudiante de droit qui adore lire les romans de Harry Potter en français car elle est sous le sortilège de la langue française. Cette fille, c'est moi. Salut tout le monde, this is Karishma from lakahaanifrancaise and today I'm going to share with you all tips and tricks to write your Lettre de Motivation for assistant d'anglais. Your Lettre de Motivation is a really important criteria of selection, and I know that builds up the pressure, but I'm here to make that process easier for you and help you create the best version of your Kahani française. So let's get started. So while you're writing your Lettre de Motivation, there are two questions that you need to mainly answer. The first one is, why should they select you? How can you add something to the French classroom? And the second one is, how would this program benefit you, benefit your journey? And we will be talking a lot more in detail and seeing how to find answers to these two questions. And while we're answering the first question, you need to highlight your extracurricular activities. And by that, I mean activities that help you develop the qualities that a teacher needs in a classroom. For example, organizing an event or handling a huge group of students. Even though in France there are only 20 students or even less than that in a classroom. And basically anything that helps you interact with students or with kids if you're looking to work in école primaire. So that needs to be highlighted. For example, I was the president of Road Track Club, and that honestly helped me develop a lot of skills. So that's what I highlighted in this part. And secondly, you need to also portray your strong qualities and your skills in a creative way and how you developed these skills. For example, since I've studied law and I'm a lawyer, I did a couple of internships during my law school, and even that's honestly an important part of my parcours professionnel. So I wanted to highlight that and showcase how that helped me develop some skills like patience, teamwork. So make sure you highlight the skills that you have, but also explain how you developed those skills. And secondly, since you would be representing India in the French classroom, and honestly there are some students and even colleagues who are meeting Indians for the very first time. Like in my school in Angers, I was the first Indian that they met, so it's a huge responsibility to be able to showcase Indian culture, to be able to bring India to their doors in France. And so for that, if you know any cultural dance, for example, Kathak or any musical instrument, or even yoga for that matter, so anything that screams India, India's culture, so please do highlight that. That's a huge plus as well. And that would sum up your first part. If you have any achievements, you can definitely show those as well. For example, I was selected to be in the Army SEAF program, so I decided to talk about that as well. And because they also see if you have any experience of living abroad and how that experience helped you prior to assistant d'anglais. So if you do, you can definitely highlight that as well. Answering the second question, how would this help you in your life, in your journey, is comparatively easier. I think it's here where you can talk about why doing this program has been a dream, because I think for a lot of students who are learning French, this program is like a real dream for them. So you should highlight why, and of course definitely not just state that j'adore la langue française. So you need to be creative in even portraying that, and it's here where you can talk about your love for the language, for French culture, and for teaching also, because that's what you will be doing in France. And I think that if you find answers to these questions, you would have enough words already, enough things to say in your Lettre de Motivation. I would also like to share some general tips for your lettre de motivation. The first one would be try avoiding using les mots passe-partout, as in c'est très beau, c'était une expérience intéressante. So try to be a lot more specific, and that's where your language skills come in use. And secondly, avoid starting your sentences with je, always je parle 5 langues, ou j'apprends le français depuis 5 ans, or for example, je suis patiente. You have to portray all of this in a creative way, and starting your sentences with je is definitely not that. So try to frame sentences, use different sentence formations, and you have your lettre de motivation has to be formal. By formal, I mean that you need to use les connecteurs to make your language sound really crisp. But at the same time, it has to be creative because it's you portraying your story. So you need to have a balance of creative as well as formal. And in the beginning of this video, you must have heard the introduction. So that was basically my introduction to my lettre de motivation. So that's how you will observe that you need a balance of creative and formal. And last but not the least, your lettre de motivation is personal, and it's something that portrays who you are as a person. So please try to not get influenced by online resources that you read, because it has to scream you as a person. So I think that's all with the general tips for writing your lettre de motivation. Assistant d'anglais has given me some of the most beautiful and memorable stories of my life, and I really wish all that and so much more to all of you. So if this video has helped you, don't hesitate to send me a message on my Instagram or to comment below. And also, I keep sharing all of these stories and more tips on French language learning on lakahaanifrancaise. So do follow me on Instagram for everything French.